guys, we are extremely lucky to have the amazing Brooke Dunnell with us. She's agreed to let me interview her. Brooke is an author of short stories which are featured on ABC National Radio and in many anthologies and journals, and she even has a PhD in creative writing. I find Brooke to be inspirational because she teaches the next generation of young writers, including myself, through many workshops and events. And even though I've been attending them for more than 2 years, they're still very exciting and I learn new skills every single week. Brooke, thank you so much for letting me grow you.
You are welcome.
Let's get started. Where does the inspiration for your short stories come from?
I think it's usually, I ask myself like a what if question. So something happens in real life and I think, but what if it happened this way? And then try to imagine from there. Yeah.
That's a very cool way.
Thank you.
Why do you choose to teach and inspire young writers? Because it's probably not always ideal to teach a bunch of kids.
Yeah. You're all surprisingly receptive to being taught, which is good. I think it's just because when I was a kid I really liked writing and I really liked writing classes, and it's really fun for me to teach them as well because I get to think of new ideas and listen to you guys' stories and hear your ideas and stuff like that. So I hadn't really thought about it of inspiring the new generation of writers, but I think that's pretty cool.
Well, you're definitely inspiring us.
Oh, good.
Did you always want to be a writer and a teacher/mentor?
I always wanted to be a writer. I wrote my first book when I was 6, which was about a man whose teeth fell out. So I was always interested in writing, and then I think teaching and mentoring people comes from that. Like once you feel like you know a bit about it and you have a few skills, you feel like it's time to start sharing, and sharing it with kids is a good thing because you don't necessarily always learn it when you're doing school stuff. So it's like it's a fun class hopefully, but also something that will be useful in the future.
What's been the scariest audience to teach? The ones that have made you the most nervous?
That would have to be, I think, when I was doing my PhD. It wasn't really teaching, but I had to give a paper to a group of other people who were doing their PhDs, and that was probably the scariest because they were all kind of at the same level as me and thinking about, you know, how thoughtful my work was and whether I had good ideas and stuff like that. So that was probably quite scary. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too pleasant.
No, it's something you have to do. It went okay. It went okay.
So you had a PhD. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey of achieving that?
So when I finished high school, I decided I would do journalism because it was writing. And then when I did some journalism, I thought, oh no, I like making stuff up. I don't like writing about the truth. So then I thought, okay, well, what can I do? There's not really any creative writing. Like you don't just go out and say, I'll write a book for you kind of thing. So I thought, well, I'll stay at uni, and I did honours and I got to write a short story. And then once I'd done honours, you can do a PhD and they actually give you a little bit of money to write a book. So I thought, well, that's better than getting a job. So that was my journey, I think. And because I'd had some stories published, they would give me money to do a PhD. So because I could prove that I'd already written a bit and that some people would publish me. Yeah, that was my journey.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool not getting a real job. So I learned that on mine.
Well, you're getting paid to not have a job.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You get money.
Yeah.
So here are the speed questions. They're the same for everyone that I've been interviewing. Some are related to writing, some are really not.
Cool.
So you just have to answer them as fast as you think you can.
Okay.
What are you writing at the moment?
I am writing a short story about a woman whose friend went missing when she was younger and what happened.
Sounds interesting. What's your favourite ice cream flavour?
I'd have to say chocolate chip cookie dough. I love those chunks of cookie dough.
Oh, that sounds nice. What's one of your favourite short stories you've ever written?
That's a hard one. I wrote this short story that I thought was really good that was about a man going to his daughter's wedding, but no one would publish it, so maybe it's not very good, but I like it, so that's probably my favourite one.
How long does it usually take you to write one of your stories?
I'd say probably about 2 weeks if I do a first draft in the first week and then I fix it up in the second week. But that's only if I focus on it. Sometimes I leave it for a while.
Who was your favourite or most inspirational author?
I think there's an author called Margaret Atwood, and I read when I was at high school a book called The Handmaid's Tale, and I really liked her language, and I thought this is how I would like to write. So I would say it would be her.
Do you prefer cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs. I have 2 dogs.
Oh yeah, I remember you put one in the glass.
Yeah, when he broke his leg.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Do you prefer ebooks or hard books?
I prefer hard books. I've never had an ebook reader. So I prefer hardcover books, but I think ebooks are great, especially when people are travelling. They can take one device and have all these books on it. So I prefer hard books, but ebooks are cool too.
Yeah, I prefer hard books too. I like the feel of paper.
Yeah.
Where's your favourite place to write?
Wherever I have a coffee.
Do you remember the first book you ever read? Or if not, what's your favourite childhood book you loved so much?
I don't remember the first book I ever read. So I think my favourite book when I was a child was a book called What Katie Did. And because I used to start it over and over and then think, oh, this is boring. And then one time I read the whole thing. So it was actually that Katie in the book, she broke her back and it was all about her getting better. And something about when I finally read it all the way through, I thought, oh, that was a great book, and I used to read it over and over again. So that's the most memorable book, I think, when I was younger.
What's your biggest achievement so far?
I don't know. Probably getting my PhD, I think. Yeah, although that was a while ago, so hopefully I have another achievement soon.
Well, getting a PhD is a huge thing. Like, that's the pinnacle of getting, like, in uni. It's like a pinnacle.
Yeah, I just need to get a novel published. That'll be my achievement if I do. Fingers crossed.
You can put, like, a novel with, like, all your short stories in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Then you got your novel.
Yeah, I don't have to do any extra work. That's good.
Do you have any big goals for the future or any new writing being released soon?
I don't have any writing being released soon, but I'm just about to start an online course where I should finish a draft of a novel. So that's my next big project, to get a draft finished, which should be exciting.
That's very cool. And last but not least, any advice for young writers?
Don't overthink it. Just keep writing. Don't worry that it's silly or no one will read it or you've done a bad job or anything. You just need to keep writing and keep working on it, because you'll just naturally get better no matter how you are when you start, and because it's fun, and it should be fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for letting me interview you. This has been wonderful.
Amazing. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy learning about Brooke Dunnell and her inspirational work, and we'll post some links in the comments down below.